Hey, welcome to Bully Visionz. I am your host, Savannah. This is our third episode, you guys. I'm so excited. I do have a special guest tonight. Luckily, every episode has had a guest. Grateful. So let me introduce you to who I call the dog boss, young entrepreneur, guys. We met him along our journey with Lone Wolf Big Timer Kennels, you guys. So let me welcome you guys to Ruben with Ruben's Pet Grooming. What's up?
What's up? How you doing?
We are good. How are you?
Good. Just chilling.
Yeah.
Pretty rainy out here. Yeah.
It is. It's been raining over here too all day.
Yeah. So I was hanging out, trying to get, this kind of new to this podcast thing. So, just work with me here.
Of course. No worries. No worries. So, hey, let us know. Let us know a little bit about Ruben and Ruben's Pet Grooming. How'd you get started?
Just with grooming in general, or with the bullies, or
yeah, just let's start with like who's Ruben and how did you get into that first? Like, because that's where you started, right? Was Ruben's Pet Grooming?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I mean, we've just always been dog lovers. I've always had a thing for dogs, pit bulls in general, just like the old school style. But back as far as grooming goes, back in like 2008, 2009, I started working for like this little mom and pop shop out there in Woodland Hills. So that's where the grooming started, and I was there for a couple years. Worked at Petco for a little bit. Then it just kind of came down, to like I wanted to do my own thing, and then just so happened there was a spot available right here close to my house, with the help of like my family, my mom mostly, and everybody, immediate family, brothers and stuff. They all kind of, supported that, and we started up a little shop right there in 2012, Mission Hills, Sepulveda and Devonshire area. And then we've been there ever since. We're kind of in the same area now. We just moved to like a little bit bigger shop, and then we're doing our thing with the bullies, and we just had a Frenchie litter. So we got a bunch of dog related stuff going on here.
That's cool. So, backtrack. How old were you like when you started your own business? Because you're pretty young. So.
Well, we started the shop. I mean, I wasn't too young. I was already 23.
Okay.
About 23. Yeah.
Okay.
But we've been hustlers since we were kids. So I mean, just kind of came natural. Made how the family helped me kind of get it started, and then after that, it's just kind of on me to make it work.
Yeah.
It's like with the dog, owning a dog.
Yeah.
The whole family gets it, but one person ends up doing the majority.
That's funny.
It'd be like that.
So then you got into the American Bullies, and what was let's backtrack. You did say you were into like pit bulls, like the old school. I think a lot of us have gone down, where we love the breed, right? But how did you get into bullies? Like, what made you decide to purchase your first bully and start getting into that?
Look, Cookie was our where it all started pretty much. But a little bit before that, like, David mostly David is, a friend from back in the day, childhood friend.
Okay.
So there was a point where I had another friend of mine, my boy Tito, who wanted to buy a Frenchie. So I knew this was probably about like 3-4 years ago. So I was like, you know what? I kind of had fell out of touch with David. We kind of were just knowing each other through like Instagram at that point. Like we didn't really keep in touch too much.
Right.
But I knew he was doing this thing with the breeding, so I reached out to him like, yo, I have a friend of a friend, or a friend that wants to get a Frenchie. Like, what's up? If you guys have anything. So it just so happened that Tito from Lone Wolf Big Timer Kennels, he had Cardi B,
yes,
a Frenchie. So he had like a one puppy left, or it was a singleton out of a litter with Captain from Hot Shot.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a Cardi and a Captain pup. So we made, I kind of like co-owned that one with a buddy of mine, just to kind of help him, secure it, just because the price and everything, he need a little help. So I was like, all right, he wanted it mostly, but we kind of co-owned it for a little bit. So then that kind of started the whole thing. Then like a couple months later, you know, David was like, hey, I know you guys got this Frenchie, but we also have these bullies. And then that's when I got Cookie. And then since then we've had 3 bully litters and 3 Frenchie litter, which the puppies are a little over 3 months old now.
Right. So. Okay. And you guys, Cookie, by the way, she literally fits her name. Like her merle patterns literally look like Cookie. Like I can see why he gave her that name. So yeah, check her out.
I caught a lot of slack on that one. Everybody was like, you know, super basic name, you know. Right. So we kind of hated, you know, we got a little bit of haters on that, you know. But,
hey, you're gonna get haters everywhere you go, you know.
Yeah, like, oh, that's a super basic name, this and that. I was like, hey, well, when you own something, you can call it whatever you want.
Right.
So
that's awesome. So Cookie, she you've bred her how many times already? 2 or 3?
Twice.
Right? Okay. And who were the studs
yeah.
for those 2 litters?
Well, the first one we used Kraken, so it was Cookie and Kraken.
Okay, that was.
And then
remember that one?
Yeah, that one was, I would say, would hit like the best. And then we did a Cookie and Rockefeller breed.
Okay. All right. Well, that was
Mob
going to be my
City,
next. That was going to be my next question. Was which one would you say no, you know, no disregard to either stud, but which one would you say was the best with her?
Definitely with the Kraken. I would say the Rockefeller litter was nice, but I would say like the Kraken litter was a little more what I was looking for.
Okay. Okay.
But I did keep a puppy off the Rockefeller litter too. We have our boy Blue, he's a dope little bully off of a direct Rockefeller son. He's just a big sweetheart. I don't really put him out there too much, but he's super dope, you know.
Okay.
And then with the Kraken litter though, we kept 2 females off that one actually, Fancy and Prada. We had a bunch of dogs over here. So and then
you're just like all of us though. So
yeah, it's like shoot, yeah. We call them the gorditas. They kept the sisters together. 2 little chunky little, you know. So we call them the gordita supremes over here.
Oh my gosh, and, that's
funny. Some fat girls. So that's a Prada and Fancy, and then we eventually bred Prada, which was a Kraken and Cookie daughter. We bred Prada to Little Kai over at Teddy's Exotics.
Oh, nice. And when did that happen?
It was probably like a year ago now.
Okay.
Yeah, because we kept off of that. We kept Moet.
That's where Moet came from. Okay.
She's off of our Little Kai and Prada, and she's just super dope. She's a dope little lilac Trimerle, you know, just super exotic, super micro, and kind of like what we're looking for. It's like we're kind of at where we want to kind of be at as far as size and color. So now we just kind of working towards a male now, like it fits that same, you know, style, size, look.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. So is that what you're looking for as far as your program is the micros? Are you looking, or do you do shows? Are you doing pockets? Like, do you tell me a little bit about your program and like what your RPG kennel, what you guys are trying to do?
Well, yeah, as far as style goes, I mean, that's definitely what I'm going for. You know, I mean, a smaller, you know, functional, correct, you know, American, but yeah, a little super dope, small one, but that still moves like a big dog and it's not all out of shape and can't breathe. Because even, you know, all the puppies we've had so far, they've all kind of fit that. You know, they've been bigger than I wanted, you know, because I feel like that Kraken blood he produces some thick dogs, you know.
Right.
Like, they're chubby little EB style bodies, you know, so it's like we want that more muscle, you know, toned, you know, little buff, little freaky looking little dog, but still looks correct.
Okay. So you're looking for something that's gonna like pop at the fun shows, like, you know, correct, but still look exotic, like come check out my shit right here kind of type.
Well, we gotta just pull up and all eyes on us, shut the whole show down.
That's right.
Pack it up and go home because we here. You know? Yeah, we're close.
Right. That's cool.
We're close, you know.
That's
Moet,
awesome.
you know, she's when you see her in person, you'll see what I'm talking about. But Bernie, you know, my boy Bernie for Lone Wolf Big Timer Kennels, and David, you know, those are, you know, some of the homies I'm close to. I mean, Tito obviously has always been, you know, reachable and the homie for sure, you know. But like when it comes down to the more day to day, you know, like, you know,
Bernie and David.
And yeah. You know, then David's my boy from, you know, childhood, so you know, it's a little different, you know.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
you guys always been super cool.
Yeah, because that's how we met you, was through David. So, you know, and you've always been super cool with us too. So, you know, it was like I when I started, you know, picking out my episodes and stuff, I'm like, I gotta get Ruben on there because it just was so dope to us that like you were a pet groomer and like you breed all different. I mean, you know, bathe all different kinds of dogs, right? Because I see them on your stories and stuff all the time, and I'm like, but this, he has gone so heavy-handed into the breeding, like more than what we did in the whole years that we've been doing it, and you've done it less time. You know what I mean? And your dogs are amazing, so it's like, we give you mad credit for that because that's really good. You stick to your vision, and we like what you're doing. So I know I've seen Moet a couple times on your videos when you've gone live, and I feel like she's dope, dude. She's gonna be nice. She's gonna be really nice.
Back to what you were saying, you know, like all this is pretty much like we and the homies. When I got Cookie, you know, I'd kick it with David and Bernie a lot, and not so much lately, which is just, you know, everybody's kind of busy, you know, trying to focus on their own thing right now, which is cool, you know. And but back when I first got her, we were hanging out like every day, you know? So we were just, you know, chopping it up. We get together, all we do is talk about dogs, you know. So
I know.
They were kind of just, you know, putting me on, you know, free game, like the homie David likes to say, you know, like teaching me and telling me what to look for, and you know, just small, compact, correct, functional, color, you know, just, you know, drilling that shit, you know, just putting that in my head. And so when it came time to look for a stud, you know, I was just hitting them up, hey, you know, my Cookies and Heat, who do you think, you know? And then they were like, hey, this one's cool. And then Kraken came about, I think, through Bernie or maybe David, I'm not sure. But and you know, the price was cool, and he was a nice looking dog, you know. But Cookie was a little more like on the bigger pot, like she was a smaller pocket. Yeah, she was more like what I consider right now like to be like a regular size bully, you know, not nothing too exotic. She's more just regular size. But she was also very small as far as like she had a light bone structure, you know. She was very petite. You know, like you could pick her up and hold her at one side, and she's not all like, you know, heavy. So that would always stood out in my head too, you know. So what I got off of that was, okay, she'll be able to create small. You know, she's not just, you know, too big where she wouldn't be able to produce smaller puppies.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and then all the history she has in there, all the, you know, throughout the bloodlines, I knew she had just small, compact, correct little dogs, you know. Yeah, so just kind of soaking up that free game as far as like, what should you look for? And I mean, at the same time, it was kind of like, yeah, you're right. That's kind of my style, you know, because, you know, me and David grew up a couple blocks apart. So, I mean, we got a lot in common, you know, so what he likes, I'm like, yeah, that is dope, you know, like, so, I mean, it wasn't like he told me what to do. It was like just kind of putting shit, you know, bringing it to my attention. And I was like, yeah, you know, because people could tell you a lot. It just depends on you, what you want to soak up from that. And, you know, obviously you're not going to do exactly what they say, but you're going to, you know, that's a good idea. I'm going to use that part of it. Or, you know.
Yeah. You kind of picked their brains and then kind of just did what your vision was, you know, with the help of them, which was cool because, you know, they've been doing it for a while. So that was I bet that made it easy for you to kind of make your decision, you know. And I'll say David too, like he has a good eye for studs too. So does Bernie, for sure. And because even us over here, even though we're part of the team, you know, like we still ask them like, hey, what do you think about this? Anytime we do a breeding, we always like to see what our team thinks, you know, whether we go or whether we like their opinion or not. It's good to pick their brain. So we kind of look at what we kind of see what they see without us not seeing it, if that makes any sense. Like, we wouldn't have seen what they seen, and then when they say it, we're like, oh yeah, that does make sense. So that's cool that you had them to kind of like pick their brain. What do you so you do Frenchies now too? And where did you get your first Frenchie? You said off of Tito?
Well, that one we had got for my boy. I have my boy Tito, which works with me.
Okay. Yes.
So he was the one getting the Frenchie, and then so we ended up coming to agreement after he bred that dog. It kind of always was with him, and it, stayed with him, and I didn't really have much to do with that dog, So I was like, you know what, when this dog has puppies, I just want a dog, and we'll call it even.
Right.
It was like just a very simple deal. I already had Cookie. I wasn't really tripping on that.
Right.
That was my boy. That's my boy, and it wasn't even about nothing about the money or nothing.
Okay.
So we ended up. So he did a breeding. He ended up with he named her Zoe, Zozo from Pick and Litter Kennels. She's a dope little blue tri, little Frenchie, super like compact and petite. Mm-hmm. Which I like that word petite because you pick up some of these dogs and they have that real heavy bone mass,
mm-hmm.
They're real heavy and bulky.
Mm-hmm.
And then you pick up these other dogs and they're like light, and they're like
Yeah.
So I kind of look for that, the lighter bone structure, not so heavy, and then so she's super light. So they ended up buying another dog, which is Ace from Pick and Litter Kennels. He's a platinum Ghost Merle covered in cream. He's a dope dog. He's nice. He should be out there more often. Like, they could do some work with him if they pushed him a little more,
Mm-hmm.
So those were the parents, and then with that breeding, we ended up getting our dog Olivia, and then
that's right, Olivia. Okay.
She's the blue tri Merle we have, and she's just super funny. She's super smart little dog, and so when she was ready, we bred her to my boy Tony, my boy Crypto.
Okay, Crypto.
With Juggernaut, and yeah, so that was a Juggernaut and our girl Olivia breeding.
That was nice. That was a nice stud pick right there.
Like I said, I'm always going for the small, little compact, and then like so right when I seen Juggernaut, he's just super tiny, and that's what I was looking for, and I mean, I'm nothing against like taller Frenchies, but like to me it's like that's not really my style. I want to just shrink them down as much as I can and still be dope and correct,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Juggernaut is nice. I think I at one point I had told Eddie, I was like, if we ever got into the Frenchie game, I would probably want a puppy off of Juggernaut because he's really nice. I remember seeing him for the first time when I met Crypto, and I was like, they actually came to Vegas one time too, and we had dinner with them, and I was just like, wow, his dog is nice. And this was before Tito really had gotten, our Tito had really gotten into more of his Frenchies, because now Tito, he's just producing his ass off, he's got so much good quality dogs over there now. So
yeah, he got that designer shit.
Yeah.
That's a whole different,
Yeah, he's got the Prada, the Louis, the Chanel.
Yeah, he got some nice dogs. He's definitely doing his thing, man. Mad respect to Tito. He's always been, solid. Always, you hit him up, he'll pick up the phone, even if it's 3 a.m.
Oh, I know that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's always showed us love since day one, and just for us to get, Cookie off them, I know that was a big one for them too, that Cookie was at the time one of the whole, Longwood Big Timer Kennel was like, it was one of their top productions at the time. Mm-hmm. As far as the bully game goes and the Merles and I didn't even know what I was looking at when I first seen her, I was like, what the hell? Like Merle and all that was new to me. So now, I mean, I'm not saying I know it all, but I could spot some stuff out now,
Yeah, now you know. Now you know.
Yeah, there's always room to learn,
Right.
So
what's Cookie up to now? Do you have anything planned for her, a third breeding for her, or are you retiring her? What's her plan?
Yeah, she's probably gonna get fixed soon and just kind of just be home, pet.
Chilling.
Because
Okay.
as far as I don't think she would be able to produce anything, size wise that I would be
That
kind
you
of
would be.
wanting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I would just either off of Prada. Moet's definitely the next step for us,
Okay.
So I mean, as far as breeding goes, she's probably like what we're kind of keeping an eye out for right now. Dope little bully.
Awesome. I can't wait to see what you guys do with her. And then and as far as Olivia too, like you guys got a stud lined out for her too, or has that not been talked about yet?
Or the bullies. Her. Which one were we talking about? I got a lot
Olivia,
of
the
them.
Frenchie.
Moet.
Oh, is Moet the Frenchie?
No, Olivia's the only Frenchie, and then we have some. She had a litter of 6, but in the beginning, and I just put it out there, but it was 4 females, 2 males.
Okay.
And then one of the males was born stillborn.
Oh.
And then the other male only lasted like one night. And but he was always kind of weak from the beginning.
Okay.
But the females were since we've got them home, there was no worry about them. They were just latching and eating and super strong and solid. So it was a big litter. Unfortunately, the boys didn't make it. And we kind of, I was looking forward to getting the male off that, the Juggernaut son and shit. That just didn't happen out there,
Yeah. Now let's backtrack to breeding and you doing your first breeding. Who did your whelping, or did you do it yourself?
I did it off day one.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, it's tough. The first litter was tough. I probably cried a couple times.
No, I know. Let's talk about that, because whelping, this is not for the weak.
I think it's all about having the right setup. Kennels, you definitely need kennels that have the grates where the pups could poop. But at the same time, you have to find the one that's small and they're a stable one, so their paws ain't slipping through.
Yeah.
So just this recent one, we got a real nice kennel for the puppies, and it was like a puppy kennel specifically for puppies. So the grates were real close, and it was just super dope. You could elevate it, So that one, man, that's a lifesaver. I recommend for any new breeders that are having their first litter. Definitely get the right kennels when they're young. I'm talking like for the bullies, probably 3-4 weeks. You could already start throwing them in there once they start pooping. Pretty solid, throw them. I mean, when they're about 2, maybe a week, 2 weeks, the mom's still eating all that up, and they're still pretty stuck in one area. They're not really jumping out of anything yet. But once the bullies hit about 3 weeks to a month, we definitely like to get them in the kennels and on the ones with the grates, and that way they could pee and poop, and it just makes cleanup easier. But the first one, we didn't have that, so it was just a headache. We just had them on the floor, and they're pooping and peeing everywhere, and then I didn't know when to throw them outside. And the bullies are pretty strong. You could throw them outside pretty early. I would say about 6 weeks. They could already go on some grass, and I mean, as long as it's clean. I'm not saying go to the park and let them run around.
No, I was gonna say.
Yeah, maybe throw them in your backyard in a clean part of the yard, and the bullies, I feel like they should be fine. Frenchies, maybe be careful, they're still small, but these bullies, man, they're strong.
Yeah.
So if they look healthy and they look pretty strong, I feel like you could throw them in your yard and let them. So just kind of knowing when to, okay, the dog's old enough for a kennel. Okay, the dog's old enough to go outside. That way they could, start using the bathroom, training themselves that they shouldn't be peeing, stepping on it, and pooping, stepping on it, Because the first one, like I said, we didn't, I didn't really know when exactly to throw them outside. I had just the regular, kennels with the trays, and just, it was more of a headache than I was giving myself more work.
And you were doing it on your own, huh? The first time?
I always had help, my mom,
that's good.
And my girl and brothers and stuff like that. It was.
But it's still hard. It's still very hard.
So much, like they're not gonna do the detail kind of shit that you do, clean it a certain way that you like it cleaned, or it's a little different when it's your dog. It's like it's your responsibility. You can have them help a little bit, but you got to get in there, roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of help, thank God. I've been blessed in that part.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we would have done if it was it's three of us, because Leo, it's me, Leo, and Eddie. Well, now Annalise is a little older, so she helps out where she can, but with us, even us four, it's still hard, but with the help of each other, it definitely makes it easier, because when I tell you, man, this whelping, it is not easy, and it ain't for the weak, that's for sure.
Especially when you got the bullies, because I've seen both, I've seen the bullies,
you've had both
and I've seen the French.
Yeah,
and them bullies, man, they're little knuckleheads, and I love them, man. I got about 5 bullies here myself, so I feel like I could talk a little freely about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm dealing with them every day. I know. So I mean, they're little knuckleheads, but they're sweet dogs.
Mm-hmm.
But they're a lot of work. You gotta be on it. They're not so small, so it's not a tiny little dog, and
Mm-hmm.
they start pooping big, peeing big, and you gotta be ready for that.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
Right now, I mean, the game is so, man, it's tough. So I mean, I'd say right now the market is more like, just do it for your own vision instead of trying to make a buck.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and it does boil down to right now, you have those people that are breeding for the right reasons, and then you have them that are just breeding because they want to breed, and then they're selling the puppies for $800 to $1,000, which ruins it for those that are actually putting in their work, doing their education, picking out the right stud, spending good money on a good stud, reliable stud, and then having to bring down your price to $800. No, that ain't, that's not fair. Obviously you got to go with what the market is, but you got those ones that kind of just mess it up for everybody, and that's my opinion, and that's what I've seen, because we have some puppies of our own right now, but yeah, I agree with you. Right now, with the market is to breed for your vision and what you're working with, because the market's just not there right now, it's really not. But backtracking, so what is RPG Kennel's plans? What are your goals for this year as far as with your program? What do you have lined up, or what are your goals for this year?
We got a lot of things in the works and things planned out, but you know how this goes. Where you're working a full-time job, you're doing the breeding, so it's like you're just kind of just playing catch up most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's in heat, I better start looking for a stud. Or I got 2 weeks, to find somebody, get the money together, and this and that. But just make sure all the dogs are cool and straight, comfortable. Make sure they're getting the love they deserve, and keeping them fed, keeping them healthy, happy.
Yeah, that's the most important, right? The most important is keeping them happy and healthy. So with you being part of now and you know the bullies, you're with them every day, and even just your background with being a pet groomer, what is your opinion as far as the American bully breed being so misunderstood? Because essentially, the Bully Visionz is, the bully behind the breeder, or the breeder behind the bully, but we are their voice, essentially. So what is your opinion on them being so misunderstood? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, I think what it all comes down to is dog control.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure your gates are secure, making sure your collars are tight, you got the right choke chain on your dog, make sure, obviously, bully's a bigger dog. If they wanted to, they have the muscle and the weight to put in some work. So definitely make sure that your dogs are secure. Don't just expect, okay, the gate's open, the dog ran out. A lot of it is owner error.
Exactly. Right.
It's sad to say, just he got out, and obviously, I always tell people, a bully's not gonna start a fight, but they're gonna finish it. Like they're gonna run up on the dog, and the other dog might kind of start, nipping back, and they're gonna kind of do what they do naturally. They're gonna be a dog,
right? Right.
Dogs are unpredictable. Any dog, it doesn't have to be a bully or a German Shepherd or a Lab, or it could be anything. So dogs are unpredictable. Don't say, "Oh, my dog's not a biter." Just secure your dog. Make sure you give people that respect their space. Just that's always been my main thing. Like, you always see something. Oh, the dog ran out the yard. Oh, the gate was broken. I never fixed it, so my dog got out and killed a dog. Like, come on, bro. Are you for real right now?
Yeah.
Like, you knew the gate was messed up. Why didn't you fix it? Or you knew the dog could slip out of that collar. Why didn't you tighten it? Or, just be ready for anything. Expect the unexpected, and and that'll show on its own. The breeders. The owners got to get better on their the way they handle their dogs, how they secure them, and then there wouldn't be no dogs getting out and attacking people and all that, or other dogs, and then you get these videos where it's all dramatic and they don't even know what to do at that point. Educate yourself on how to break up a dog fight. What you should do, what you shouldn't do. Obviously, screaming and kicking the dog is not going to help. And even
it boils down to education. Literally, education with any breed. It just so happens that the American Bully breed is targeted because of, the history of pit bulls, and, like you said, it boils down to the ownership, and that's plain and simple there. Have you had any bad experiences with having an American Bully? Like, as you gone out or anything like that? Like, has anybody ever said anything to you, or like, have you had any experiences like that?
Just being around the breed so long, we've had, I've had my, things happen on the day to day. Your dog runs out, and it's like you gotta. But there's been a couple times where I'm walking by with one of my dogs, and you see the people's faces. They get all scared, and they pick up their dogs and walk across the street, or they're looking at you like you have a little dinosaur, right? Walking a little dinosaur or something. Yeah. So it's kind of like, there was one time that stood out right now when you asked that. I was walking, one of my bullies, and this guy picks up his dog and gets on the grass. He's all scared. I'm like walking. I stayed on the sidewalk, And then he's like, he said something like, he looks aggressive, or just, no, he's like, does he bite? And I'm like, no, he don't bite, man. He's friendly. Oh, well, he doesn't look friendly. I'm like, really?
Oh my gosh.
What do you want to do? I was just like, all right, well, that's just your insecurity with dogs. And I just kept walking, Like,
oh my God. People have the audacity, I swear.
It was just super random. I was like, well, why ask? If you already had your money,
at this point.
Yeah, but even like having your own bullies at the house, sometimes they get in scuffles, and you got to know what to do,
Exactly.
And I've ran out on my dogs, beating each other up, locked on the other one or something, and you got to kind of know what to do, and then you got to know who gets along with who, and even like all of my dogs, I'll be straight up, they don't get along, so I'll put some out, put them back in, put another one out, and then kind of give them yard time, like I call it, like, all right, you got to go away, you're putting out your sister now. And I think it's more just a space thing. Our yard is, if I had a huge 2-3 acres and they could run freely and just, it'd be a little different. But, they're confined in a smaller spot, and there could only be one alpha, in the pack, and then they all want to be alphas,
That's exactly right. I think that's the whole thing that happens, is they all want to be the lead, the pack, the leader of the pack. And there can only be one, and that's you, Ruben. That's it.
Yeah, we try, man. But some of these little wild little dogs, man. Especially the bullies. But even the Frenchies too, man. Like our girl Olivia, she's a little. She likes to look for it. She'll go in the book. Yeah.
Them Frenchies are mean too. Sometimes, you know.
Little two bullies and start trying to bite one's ear and like gets beat up because she's all in the mix, you know. Yeah. Luckily, we haven't had no incidents lately, but we kind of know who gets along with who now, and we have everybody kind of know. We have a little list. This one gets along with this one. This one don't put this one with that one,
right?
You know, so it's like do it at your own risk, you know. And then, so I mean, it's working out good, and we're just. You know, we still have a couple Frenchie puppies too, so we're still trying to give them, you know, the love they need and all that.
Yeah. So, okay. That's awesome. So RPG Kennels, are you into the shows, or are you just kind of like just doing your thing with breeding and kind of your vision?
Well, probably, you know, just doing my own thing right now. I mean, I like the shows, but I just don't get out to them enough, you know. Mm-hmm. Usually they're on a Saturday, and I work, you know, weekends, and sometimes it'd be kind of tough, you know, the location. Mm-hmm. But I know during like spring, we definitely want to get more show driven and try to get out there and promote, you know, the brand and the dogs, and because you know, every time we go out, we always get pretty good feedback. Mm-hmm. And we always see somebody we know. We know we have a lot of people we've met over the years, and friends of friends, and people we've met, you know, through a friend. And, you know, so every time we go to a show, I see somebody I know, and it's, you know, somewhere to stand and a head nod and, you know, a familiar face. And it always gives you that little, like, all right, cool, I know this person, feel a little more comfortable.
Yeah. And then you obviously meet new people too. So always a plus too. But yeah, I mean, being a business owner and, you know, these shows, I mean, your business, you're the boss. You're the one that has to, like, you know, make sure that it runs. So if nobody's there to run it, it's like, then there's no money coming in, right? So it's like being a business owner, there's no days off for that. So I can see where it's kind of hard for you, because the shows normally are on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, Sunday shows are becoming a little more popular.
Yeah.
You know, I remember in the beginning it was always on a Saturday, or it felt more like Saturday driven. You know, but right now, obviously, the weather's kind of bad, but this shit ain't gonna last.
No.
And then once it kind of clears out, I'm thinking like maybe like late spring we'll start hitting up some shows and try to get out there a little more, and, you know, push them and show the dogs off. And because I mean, we have nice dogs, we want people to see that and just be recognized for that. And but at the same time, we gotta, you know, we're not gonna let that, you know, make us who we are. We're gonna, you know, be us and do what we do, and then just show up with it, and like, this is us, you know, take it or leave it. You know.
Yeah. Well, guys, I mean, here you go. Like you said, he's, you know, definitely got his vision going. He's driven in what he's doing with his brand. If you guys are in the area, you know, Ruben's Pet Grooming, you want to get your dogs ready for shows, get a reservation with them, tap in with them, get your dogs. We've taken our dogs a couple of times, get them ready for the shows, so definitely hit them up. But yeah, definitely mad props to you, because I know, like, you're really doing your thing, and I'm proud of you of how far you've come, you know, since you guys got Cookie. So I'm like really, really happy with what you're doing as a friend and as somebody that knows you, you know. So I'm excited to see what you guys do for sure with RPG Kennels. I know the logo, by the way, you're the one that I posted on there. I love it. I love Cookie in there. That looks dope. I love the bubbles and all that. So I really do love that logo.
It's a little cartoonish, you know, which is cool. You know, I wouldn't really call it our logo.
Or like, what is it, like a?
It's just like
shirts, right, for merch or something.
I mean, it's a fun shirt. It's a fun design.
Yeah,
you know, it's cool. It's funny. Maybe like a sticker design or something like that. You know, even like with our logo, we're still kind of even trying to get that right. You know.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna push it more just towards like the Ruben's pet grooming side, and then just run with that, because a lot of people kind of know us at that, like
Yeah.
Ruben's pet grooming and the pet groomer, and I talk to people and it's like, oh yeah, the pet groomer, like Machete or something, like and it's kind of like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, that's me. So I mean, we definitely try to push Ruben's pet grooming even at the shows. We don't really go in there as like RPG kennel, where it's just like, oh, Ruben's pet grooming. You know?
Yeah.
I'll even wear a Ruben's pet grooming shirt, to a bully show, just to promote it, because that's what I've been doing. That's my brand since 2012, So it's like, that's how people kind of identify the brand. Yep. Even the dogs too, So it's like,
yeah, no, I mean, that's what we Ruben's pet grooming. I mean, that's what we see you as. I think that's a great idea. You already have it going, you already have your business, you got your brand. Now this is just an addition to it, your kennel that you got going. So I think that's a great business move. That's why I call you the dog boss. I told Eddie, I'm like, I have a nickname for him, and he was like, what? I'm like, he's the dog boss. He's like, why are you calling him that? I was like, because he owns his own business and now he has a kennel. He's the dog boss. he just starts laughing at me.
You guys doing your thing too. I mean, I know it ain't easy, so just kind of hang in there, and and kind of, like I said, stick to your vision, and don't what I always kind of took from David and Bernie too was the free game. We would always say that free game, David with that shit, man. And then so I mean, he would always tell me, like, I'll be like, what do you think of this dog? He'd be like, nah, that ain't it. Or, yep, that was dope. And so, I mean, I never took that as bad advice. To me, I was always like, I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna follow the lead. Even with all the studs we kind of picked with the bullies, it was all inspired through like David and Bernie in a way. Like, this was cool. I had so much stuff going on at the time, and then they were more watching what was out there. So when Cookie came in heat, I didn't even know who I was gonna run her with, and they already had it locked in. Like, what do you think of her? Or him? So just soak up that free game. I know they always kind of there for you guys too. And that's you guys, the squad right there. But that breeding you did last time, that one was nice, man. I mean, I like that. I mean, bullies for right now, I'm gonna try to keep it with, like, I think as far as who I'm gonna run next, maybe just Moet. Anything above her, I don't even know if I feel like running. Just because size wise, I don't know what they're gonna produce.
Yeah. Well, I think you're in the right direction for sure. I can't wait to see what you produce. But yeah, I think for Ruben's pet grooming, I mean, you guys heard it from himself. You guys, he's sticking to his vision. Small, compact, American bullies, small, compact, Frenchies. Tap in with him. You never know what he has up his sleeve. I'm sure he'll be posting on his page what's next for Ruben's pet grooming. So yeah, go ahead and let them know where they can follow you at. What social media platforms you're on?
Well, just pretty much Ruben's pet grooming across all platforms.
Okay.
Google it.
Instagram.
Facebook. Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. Everything under at Ruben's pet grooming.
Ruben's pet grooming. All right, guys. Ruben's pet grooming. All social media platforms across the board. Tap in, give them a follow, hit them up if you guys are in the area and you guys need some grooming done. You guys heard it from the man himself. And I think that's gonna be it for our episode this time. Thank you so much for tuning in with us and joining us on Bully Visionz, Ruben. I appreciate you so much for taking time out of your night to be with us.
Appreciate you. Have a blessed night. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, that's it. Bully Visionz. Thank you guys for tuning in. We had the dog boss, Ruben, with Ruben's Pet Grooming on our episode this evening. You guys, he put his social media platforms in there for you guys to give him a follow. Remember, it's the breeder behind the bully. Education is everything. They do not have a voice. We are their voice. So let's be better breeders to better the breed. All right, guys, have a good night, and we'll see you guys. Bully Visionz, Savannah, we're out.